Hi everyone, welcome to the Four and Fork. My name is Alexandria and I'm cooking one meal from every country in the world. Today we're doing Colombia and we're gonna be making twice fried plantains or tostones. So keep watching, I'm gonna walk you through the steps and some best practices for how to make it. This recipe is super simple because you only need a couple of ingredients. So you're gonna need some plantains, some vegetable oil for frying, some water and some salt, and then just some nonstick spray, and you're gonna have everything that you need to make this dish. So the first thing that we're gonna do is cut our plantains. So first of all, make sure that you get green plantains. So you want really unripe plantains. The more brown that the plantain has on the outside, the more it will caramelize instead of fry, and it'll be sweeter instead of tasting like a crispy chip, kind of. So make sure that you get the green plantains. And I'm gonna show you how to cut them because this is probably the hardest part of the whole recipe actually, and it's still not that hard. So you're gonna take your green plantain and a small knife, and you're gonna cut the ends off of the plantain so that you have kind of a flatter space to work with. Then what you're gonna do is take a small knife and cut a line down from tip to tip of the plantain. You wanna cut through the peel, but you don't wanna cut through the actual meat of the plantain. So you have your line in the middle, then you flip it over, and exactly on the other side, you cut the same line again. Jeez, okay. Then what you're gonna do is just kind of like, so you're gonna use your fingernail kind of to get underneath the peel, and it's gonna come off in halves. So you're just gonna kind of peel this peel off of the plantain. There you go, one side's clean, and then do the same thing on the other side. So once you have your clean plantain, you're gonna cut it into slices. So I like thicker slices for my tostones, so I'm gonna cut maybe like 1 to 1.5 inches thick slices of this tostone. Now I have some oil that's heating up here. The key to making good tostones is that you don't want your oil to be too hot when you put the plantains in there to fry. You want to start bubbling when the plantain hits the oil, but if it cooks too fast, it'll start to burn on the outside and it won't be very delicious. Okay, so you can see that my plantain is starting to boil, or starting to fry. So I'm gonna flip it over. And it's kind of yellow on the top, which is how you know that it's ready to flip over. I'm gonna put some other ones in here too while I wait for this one to cook. The secret to tostones is that they are fried 2 times, which if you have watched my fry recipe from Belgium, my Belgian frites with Andalous sauce recipe, you'll know the importance of twice frying because it makes for a really delicious texture. So the first time that you fry, you're cooking the whole interior of the tostone. So once your plantain is done frying for the first time, you'll tell it's done because it kind of looks cooked on the outside. So now it's time to smash it. So I have a glass here. You can use a mug or a glass. They even have tostone makers where it's made specifically to crush your plantain. It's easy to just use a glass. So I'm gonna take my glass and then I'm gonna take some nonstick spray and I'm gonna spray the bottom of the glass just so that my plantain doesn't stick. And then I'm gonna crush the plantain. Now I have a knife. Instead of trying to peel it off, because sometimes it gets stuck and falls apart, I'm just gonna take my knife and kind of. Okay, now this is a step that's not normal in most tostones recipes, but I think it's important and why I really like this recipe. So I have a bowl here with water and salt in it. And you know how when you're cooking potatoes or you're cooking pasta, you wanna make sure to salt the water so that those foods retain the salt when the final product is done and you're salting it again? That's the same thing for these tostones. So what I've done is I've put some salt in this water. I'm gonna take my crushed plantain and I'm gonna dip it in the salt water, and then I'm gonna leave it to rest on this paper towel just for a second because I want most of the water to get off. So now that you have all of your plantains smashed and dipped in the water, it's time to refry them. So you're just gonna put all of your plantains back into the oil and let them fry again for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, flipping them if you need to. Now there's some controversy over where tostones originated. Some people say South America, some people say the Caribbean. I lived in Puerto Rico the summer after my freshman year of college for the summer, And I ate tostones a lot while I was in Puerto Rico. I loved them. My host mom would make them all the time when I was living there. But also, a lot of people in Colombia love tostones, and the good thing about food is that it's kind of borderless. So I wanted to show you how to make tostones, and they eat them a lot in Colombia, which is why we're making them this week. And that's it. So what you're gonna do now is just take some kosher salt, salt these bad boys. Should I salt bae it? I'm gonna salt bae it. Put some salt on them, and then they're ready to eat. So you can eat these plain, or as I ate them in Puerto Rico, you can dip them in whatever sauce you want. In Puerto Rico, they did mayo and ketchup. You could dip your tostones in, or you could just eat them plain. They should be super crunchy. I love this snack because they only take one ingredient, two if you count the oil, but they're ready super quickly. They're delicious, and they taste like really high quality, good, crispy potato chips. I absolutely love making them. If you want the full written instructions for this recipe, it's gonna be on my website, www.fourandfork.com. So you can go there and check it out. And also don't forget to stop back and keep watching all the other recipes that I post from food all over the world. It was so fun working with you guys today, and I will see you soon.